I'm Gaz, and this is Let's Debut Dwarf Star Lunar Winds. This is an Android app that I developed, and if you want to know anything about it, just click on this little info button right here. It will take you to the tutorial, and all the information about how to play the game is there, but I'm going to cover most of that in this video anyway, so let's get started. Starting out, you pick your turn length, how long you want the game to go. Unlike other games of this sort that are more open-ended, this game does have a finite number of turns, and your goal is basically to become as rich and powerful as you can within that time. So I'm just going to start out with 150. Next, you choose your pilot. Depending on what pilot you choose, your starting ship will have different stats. So the merchant is more apt for trading. It has a larger cargo capacity, but it's not very strong combat-wise, whereas the Raider is the opposite. It's got a lot better weapons and shields, but it has almost no cargo. And of course the Freelancer is the middle ship that has average everything. So, pick that and we see the greetings screen, click through that, and we go into our starting system. So the system is different and will change depending on what pilot you chose. You can travel between the different systems in the galaxy by clicking on this warp icon, and that will use up one of your jumps, which you see up here, and the jumps are your turns. Clicking on a planet will also use up one of your jumps. Talking about the interface, we see that you've got your location here, and when you click on the planets that changes. You've got how much money you have, as well as your hull strength and your cargo. You cannot actually see the unique items within your cargo until you go to a planet's market. So let's click on this, and we've got the market, the shipyard. You can repair your ship, and you can go back to space. Let's click on the market, and we come over here to the inventory. And so here's the list of everything your ship can have in its cargo hold. And now you will notice that there are many more items here than show up within the market. Each planet only has a certain number of items, and you kind of have to travel around to find out the best markets for the goods that you want to trade in. At market you can also sell contraband that you find, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but below that are the special items. And special items act like upgrades for your ship, and they give you various advantages. So like the guild membership here will help you against the event where you meet the Space Trade Commission and have to pay a tax, which is like a 10% tax. And so if you buy this, you don't have to pay that. There's also weapons upgrades, shields upgrades, that sort of thing. When you buy and sell, you see that it buys 5 at a time if you have the money and cargo capacity, and it'll sell that. Otherwise, it'll just buy however much you can actually afford, and that's basically because while you're playing it on a device and hitting the button with your finger, you don't want to poke a hole through your screen constantly clicking, because some of the ships have very large cargo capacities. So that just speeds that up a little bit there. Let's go back and we can look at the ships. Now, depending again on what starting system you are in, a few of the ships will be different. So like this is the ship unique to this system, and we can click through here. These are sort of generic ships, but then we can come to the bigger ships, which are also unique, and you can travel between the systems and purchase ships from other systems. But if you buy it within your home system, you get a discount on the price. So depending on what ship you actually want, because the statistics are different between each ship, it might actually be better to just buy local, basically. So let's get out of there. Now we can go back to space. When you are traveling between the planets, random events can happen. Let's see if we can trigger one. Okay, here we go. A warp anomaly, so I lose a turn. Well, that's not very exciting. There is an item that can prevent that from happening. Okay, well, here's another thing. This is a signal, and this basically acts like events that you can trigger. And some of them are the same as the random events that you will face just going through space, like fighting. The combat aspect is in that, but there are other things unique to the signals, such as like a ghost ship that you can salvage parts from and get some money. So let's see what this has. Smugglers. Okay, well, that'll bring me into the combat screen, so I can talk about this. So you got the enemy here on the left, your player's ship on the right, and it's a pretty simple mechanic. You just click attack, and it does combat based on the statistics between the two ships simultaneously. And, okay, we both took a hit there. Okay, I'm probably not going to survive this, so let's get out of here. Okay, so I've taken some damage, and I'm going to need to go to a planet to repair. Alright. Another thing about the goods is that depending on what system you're in, there are some specialty items, and so here in the blue system, the specialty item is spice. Spice will be much cheaper here on these worlds, but they will be more expensive in the other systems, and so if you really want to maximize your profits, you will travel between the systems and sell really cheap items to the better priced planets. So let's go ahead and travel through the warp, which does use up a turn, and let's pick the yellow system, why not? Okay, so we've got another signal here, and this gives me a treasure ship. Okay, so this allows me to talk about infamy, and I briefly showed you the contraband earlier. Basically there is a hidden number in the game that is your infamy score, and if you have too high of an infamy, you can be arrested and lose the game. So one of the ways of increasing that is selling contraband, but you can also raise it by attacking neutral trade ships or treasure ships, and you have the option to leave them alone, but let's go ahead and attack this one. And I won, and I've got some contraband, so Imperial artifacts. Great, and that's in my hold, and I can go ahead and offload those right now. And so the treasure ships are actually kind of a double whammy, because you get a mark for attacking the treasure ship, and then when you sell the contraband, if you get a police event and they find contraband on your ship, they will confiscate it. So that will also raise your infamy. So there are some advantages and risks and all that in that, but you usually have an option of whether or not you want to get the contraband if you want to add that. Contraband does add a little bit of a modifier to your final score, and I guess I can go ahead and talk about that. Whenever the game ends, basically it will add up your score based on a number of factors: what ship you have, how much money you've got, give you the modifier for your infamy, a couple other things. So before I do that, let's talk about how to save the game, and that is sort of an autosave feature when you go back to the main menu. So I can click that and then quit the game or continue at any time. It'll bring me back. So yeah, you just travel around here, and okay, here's a trade ship. I can attack this. Now, unlike the treasure ship, the trader will fight back, so let's see what happens here. Alright, I survived. Wow. I was kind of hoping for a death so I could get to the end screen there. But anyway, so that's the game, and if you guys want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description. So thanks for watching.